Welcome to TBRadio. This is your host, Tasha B. It is Tuesday night, and of course, every Tuesday night of this brand new year, this is our second year with TBRadio, and we're empowering, we're saving lives this year on TBRadio, and I'm bringing in fantastic guests that's doing positive things. And this young lady, I ran across, I started a new Facebook page, and she ended up as my friend. I requested her. I don't know how it came about, but now we're friends because I look at her page every single day, and you'll understand why. But her name is Reverend. She got a lot of titles now. Reverend Dr. Diva Verdun. Say hello to my listeners.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
How are you?
I'm fabulous, Tasha. Thank you for inviting me to be here tonight.
Oh, it's going to be a fun night. It's going to be a fun night because tonight's topic is talking about the inner you. But I want people to know that you're an empowerment coach, a life strategist, speaker, teacher, counselor.
Right.
Reverend.
Right.
I mean, you do all of that.
I'm a radical minister, though, so let's don't get too holy.
Okay. That's what we keep it real raw here on
exactly.
TBRadio.
That's living.
We like reverends. And I'm attracted to reverends and that don't just preach to you, but teach you.
Right.
Using everyday scenarios.
Exactly.
And one of the people, and I tell people my favorite is Joel Osteen and Joyce Myers. They're very good at bringing everyday life stuff to reality in the Word.
Right.
And so you look at it differently because you don't look at the King James Version that goes, thy, the,
exactly. How do I get out of the Bible and live?
I'm doing everything wrong. And when you hear pastors that bring it to you real, like you're living, it's wonderful. And that's what I like going to your page because I tell it every time I go to your page, I'm like, is she talking about me? Did I send her a text or something? So I'm really trying to improve my inner me. Every year around my birthday, I do my whole cleansing thing.
Right. My
New Year's resolution, how to be a better person.
Right.
This year I want to do less profanity and life. You know, we try to, I never used to use profanity a lot, but life has taught me that people respected it more when I got bitchy.
Right.
And see, I'm using now, but bitchy when you got bitchy, they respected it more, or they backed down, or they didn't take my kindness as a weakness. So now I have to find a new way to evolve myself without using those 4-letter words.
Yeah, but you got to remember all those words are now in the dictionary.
They are in the dictionary.
They're all part of the English language.
Exactly. But I want to kind of, I want to empower people with words and not punish them in something you say. Discipline, we are empowered, not caged or punished. And I want to be that type of person.
Right.
Not caged or punished, because when you start using what everybody else uses, you feel like you're being caged. You're following what everybody else do.
That's what we call being socialized.
See, that's what I love about you. See, I love it. So the inner me, the inner you, the inner us, how do we start? How do we get to that point?
Well, you got to sit down and get still. That's the first thing. You got to take all of those thoughts that are always going back and forth, saying all kinds of things, and you got to silence them. And that's probably the hardest thing for most people to do. Everybody is generally using a lot of music, loud music, listening to a lot of loud talking, all these things, so that they don't have to hear their own inner thoughts. Right. Because when you turn all those things off, what you're left with is the noise that's going on in your own head. And that noise you have to learn how to deal with. Once you can sit and you can get yourself past the noise that's going on in your own head, which is saying, I can't, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, I don't deserve it, I can't do it, I don't have enough education, I'm not attractive enough, I'm the wrong color skin.
Right.
You know, all these things just keep going on and on and on, playing over and over and over in your head. So you have to get still and silence all the noise, and you have to go to that place where there is the peace. And that's the peace that they call of no understanding. And when you get in that place of peace, that's where you find your power. Once you tap that power, now you're in a position to actually live from it, and you're in control of your life. And that's what people have to get to, that place. But nobody's teaching you how to do that.
Exactly. And when you say we hear our own voices, and not necessarily our own voices about ourselves, it's what people have conditioned and said to us.
Exactly.
That we have now allowed it to be part of our thoughts.
Yeah.
So we react based on what we've been told or heard from other people, not necessarily from our own inner strength. So it's important that, I think you brought out a good point, that we do need to be still and listen to ourselves, because
we've been socialized to not understand that we have power. We've been socialized to believe that all of the power that exists is outside of us. And so we're trying to live an experience by becoming something that's not who we are.
Exactly.
Okay, so if I'm going to be a lawyer, you know, I have to be a lawyer. Mm-hmm. I'm not the person that I am whose occupation is a lawyer.
Right.
Okay, which is the difference.
Right.
Okay, because you're living this facade of a character as the lawyer.
Exactly.
Instead of the lawyer is your occupation.
You're acting,
people.
You're acting.
Exactly. And so instead of living real life, we're living something that we've been conditioned to believe that we are.
That we have to be
Exactly.
in order to be accepted by people.
Exactly.
And I get that, because I hear it all the time in Hollywood that it's so cliquish, and you got to be this way and you got to be that way. And I'm so against not getting caught up in the cliquish thing and making my own decisions. But I am wise enough to listen to people who are seasoned and have made their mark and paid their dues. Because some of the things that they say is relevant. But it doesn't mean that everything that people tell you, you have to take. You got to pick and choose.
Yeah, you have to pick and choose.
So you have to start listening again, being still. That goes back to that moment. If you could tell my listeners, we're busy every day. I have a busy schedule.
Yeah,
seriously.
I do too.
And I probably live off of 4 hours of sleep a day.
Or less.
Yes, and people don't understand. I sleep on one job when I'm there just so I can make it through the rest of the day. So how do we find the time? Give us 3 easy ways to find time to be still.
Well, you're going to make me put it in 3 easy ways. You know, I'm long-winded.
That's
my nickname is Long Prayer. Okay?
You like my grandmama.
I was like, you want me to give you the condensed version? How do I do that?
My grandmama, we tell her to bless the food at Christmas, and it turns
everything
into a church
is cold.
And we like, okay, got your finger up, got to go to the restroom because she's still praying over the food. Okay. But no, just quick, how do we do? I know I can, on my lunch break, I take my pillow to work and I sleep in my car on my lunch break. I do, because I need 30 minutes of rest.
Right.
But I can take that time to meditate, too.
You know, what I can tell you is that I don't know if I can put it in your 3 that you said you want me to put it in, because I didn't do no homework before I came, so I don't have no little notes here saying, bullet 1, bullet 2, and bullet 3.
I don't have no question now. Let's just flow with it.
What I can tell you is that everybody's lifestyle is different. So what works for you, sleeping in the car for 30 minutes and then you're able to function, that works for you. Whereas there may be a person that has to have a full 8, before that they can function. Some people are polythic thinkers, whereas others are monolithic thinkers, where, they can multitask and they can do where other people can't. So we can't compare what we do or how we live our particular experience based on what other people are doing. So if all you need is 30 minutes to get up and finish doing whatever it is that you've got to do, and that's working for you,
right,
there's nobody to compare that to, because that's what works for you. And people have to get to a place where they understand that you're uniquely who you're supposed to be, and that God is having a unique experience called Tasha. Okay? Because one of the things I ask people when I counsel with them is, why does God need people? And they all get real quiet. And then they say, well, so that we can minister to each other. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Because if all that there was before you got here was God, then why did God have to make people to minister to people? So we're not here really to witness to each other.
Exactly.
What we're here to do is to live life. Okay? And what we're here to do is experience the fullness of life. And we're always like little children in the world's classroom and the playground, figuring out what life is all about.
Yeah.
Okay? So we're uniquely here as spirit living a human experience. So Tasha is actually spirit living Tasha as Tasha's experience.
I'm a spirit living
There you
life.
are. You are not just the spirit, you are God. Okay? Because we're made in the image and likeness.
Exactly.
Okay? So made in the image and likeness, you're actually the Spirit of God living an existence called Tasha. So we get all caught up into this thing, I'm having a bad experience, a good experience, my life is this, my life is that. We haven't learned how to tap into our power, which is the spirit within us that has lived the whole negative experience that we've been going through.
Right.
God has been riding shotgun with you all along.
Exactly.
Because you have free will. We get to make all the decisions. So he's just riding shotgun.
Right.
Okay, so it's like, okay, well, she making the decisions, so we're going to go left, we're going to go right, we're going to get into this, we're going to get into that.
Because and when people say he already knows which way you're going to go, because he's already in you. He's already in you. So he already he sees the outcome.
Right.
If you keep making these decisions. And sometimes when you go through little things, it's a warning sign. Okay, I see you going down this place, and if you keep doing that, it can be worse the next time.
Well, it's not just a warning, okay? The thing about what we go through is we're little children. When you can think of the fact that you're really a child to God, okay? You never, ever grow up. You never do. I'm 52 years old now, but I ain't never been 53.
52.
But I ain't never been 53, so I don't know what that's like. Exactly. But I have been 51. Okay, so I know what that's like. But I'm here to live as 52 right now.
Right.
Okay, so that's what I have to experience what every day of being a 52-year-old is like. So I'm always going to be a child because the person that's 65 thinks that I'm a child. My son is 27 years old. He's a grown man, but to me, he's still a child because I've already so far past that. Right. So to spirit, we're always little children. And our life is just like when the little baby is running around the hot stove, okay? Right. And the child is running around the stove and doesn't pay attention to the stove, but the stove is hot. So you tell the child, stop running around that stove. Don't touch the stove. It's hot.
Right.
And the child doesn't know what that means because they never experienced what hot is.
Till they get too close.
Exactly. So they touch it. Because they had no concept of what hot means. Exactly. So when they touch it, then they say, hot, 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 hot. Now you know. So you don't touch stove no more. Exactly. Well, we have this experience all throughout our life. So when we make a decision, people say, I made a bad decision. No, you didn't make a bad decision. It was the right decision in the moment that you made it. Right. What happens is you grow and you figure out that this is not the experience that you want to have.
Right.
And when you decide that's not the experience that you want to have, that's when it becomes a mistake. The key to all of this whole thing from a spiritual standpoint is understanding that the word sin actually only means to make a mistake. So when people tell us that we're born into sin, they're trying to put all this religious dogma on us that keeps us into this burden when we think God is living in the sky somewhere with a judgment book, and I'm going through hell and I'm not going to be, I'm going to have to pray and suffer and beg and plead and then maybe I'll gain favor.
But it doesn't even say that. in the Bible that is supposed to be. And people, and I hate talking about religion with people because I get heated in it because so many people see it one way. And I say, but that's not even what the Bible says. We're supposed to be living. And one of the things people tell me, and they say, well, you're broke, you don't have this, you don't have that. I said, really? Because I have the richest daddy in the world. Because guess what? All of this is ours. We just have to figure out.
You go back to the inner awareness, though, again,
right.
Because, see, each of us was born into the inheritance of abundance.
Exactly.
But, see, the society has socialized us to believe that there are the haves and the have-nots. And most of the people in the world are the have-nots. And we have allowed ourselves to be conditioned to believe that we can't have. Because now we don't deserve it, we can't achieve it, we're not smart enough, not pretty enough, you're not enough of whatever. Okay.
But that's all from a people's standpoint.
Yes, that's why it's called socialization.
Right, not from a spiritual standpoint, because we're already rich. We just haven't tapped into it.
Exactly.
And
but it goes back to getting still. When you sit down and you can go back into that inner awareness of who you truly, truly are, that you are spirit in manifest form, and that you can get still and make all of those thoughts, which are actually the little foxes that destroy the vine.
Right.
That's what that means. It means the negative thoughts that are in your mind. The vine is the positive, and the little foxes are destroying that vine, which is the positive thoughts. Right. So the negative thoughts are being eaten by us just playing these negative tapes over and over and over again because we feel we're not sufficient enough.
And you have to block that out. And I'm learning to do that. That when people say negative things or have negative reactions to stuff, to just block it off. That's the way they see it at that moment.
Well, it's a little bit deeper than that because it goes back to what we were talking about conditioning. Mm-hmm. You know, like today's message that I wrote was about discipline. And
read that up.
You read that one?
I got it up because I was getting ready to go into discipline is the key to living.
Discipline is the key to living. But the thing that in conditioning as little children, we associate discipline with pain. So instead of us understanding that discipline is actually how we achieve greatness, because we discipline our minds so that we're focused, so that we can actually channel in and do what's necessary. That's why you can do the 4-hour sleep, because you got so many other things that you're disciplined to do that it's like, I only need enough sleep so my body can function so that I can get done what I'm trying to do. But as little children, we have associated pain and punishment with discipline, when the discipline is actually there to teach us how to have self-control. Because the only reason why we discipline our children is boys, stop running around that table and sit down, okay? Self-control. You running around, I need you to control yourself and sit still for a half an hour.
I want you to take control of yourself so I don't have to discipline you.
Exactly.
And that's a good point. That is a very good point. And of course, we'll be right back after these messages. And of course, if you're just tuning in, I am speaking with the one and only Reverend Dr. Diva Verdun. Please say something.
Hello, everyone. Know that you are loved.
And we'll be right back.
Keep listening to TV Radio, man. It's an awesome show, awesome host. She's getting her grind on. She's working hard. So when she blow up like Tom doing in the morning show or the Steve Harvey show, don't be surprised, because she's putting in the work that it takes and the dedication that it takes to go the direction that God blessed her to go in. So make sure you continue to listen to TV Radio.
With your girl, Tasha B.
Girl, Tasha B, TV Radio.
And we're back here on TV Radio. It is Tuesday night, and I'm having a good time. If you just joining us and you missed the first 15 minutes of this show, I'm here with Dr. Reverend Dr. Diva Verdun. And I want to put that in and give you your complete title, because people need to understand that you're more than just a doctor. And people are going to say Diva, and I just learned something, people. That's her real name on her driver's license. She's the true diva, okay? Not just a name that she tattooed on herself. She's Diva.
Right. Well, the name Diva means goddess.
And she is a goddess. Read her page. She's educating us with her mind, spirituality, and I'm motivated a lot inspired once I read your blogs.
Good.
So that's important to me, which is why I reached out to you. Like, I want my listeners to get what I'm getting and how I feel. So we're talking about discipline, and I know in the break you said you want to go back to talking about the sin,
right?
How we were. So if you can bring my listeners up to date on that.
Yeah, I wanted to just revisit. We were talking about sin, and a lot of people we're socialized to believe that there's this one entity called sin that we're born into, and that there's no way for us to overcome it. So a lot of people get burnt out on spirituality because of this dogma behind sin. Mm-hmm. So it's like, why should I even try to live a spiritual experience? If I'm born into sin, I'm going to go to hell anyway. So why am I trying to live holy? Well, we have to go and understand from an internal perspective what all of this really means. The word sin is actually an Aramaic term in the language of Jesus that actually means to make a mistake or to miss the mark. So when we're told that we're born into sin, basically all it means is that we're born to make mistakes. So now if you understand that you're born to make mistakes, it's like, oh, it's okay.
You're allowed to make mistakes.
You're allowed to make mistakes.
I don't understand, because even with the word sin, and even if you read the King James version of the Bible, it tells you that you're allowed. You were born into sin. You are going to sin. You're not perfect. Your job is to learn from it and grow from it and be a better person.
Right. Well, that's why it says to study your study to show yourself approved.
Exactly.
But it doesn't mean just study the Bible.
Exactly.
Okay. You have to study life.
Life, yourself.
Exactly.
What got you to that point. And I think people take it verbatim.
They've been actually socialized verbatim
right,
to believe, because actually in the Bible it doesn't say that you're born into sin. That is not actually in the Bible. Right. That is what people say. Okay, so when we get to a point where we really understand that sin only means that you are born to make a mistake, and that your mistakes that you make are the learning tools. They're part of your divinity. Okay, and when you can see it as part of your divinity, that mistakes are part of your divinity, because what they do is they teach you what you like and what you don't like. Okay? Right. So if you didn't make any mistakes, just imagine you would just be walking through the whole experience, and that everything that happens, you liked it. Okay? It doesn't work that way.
And it felt good. And
you're like, okay, some people like dark chocolate, some people like, white chocolate. Whichever chocolate you like, how would you not know if you hadn't ate the chocolate that you don't like
or tried it?
Exactly. So that was you were like, okay, that was a mistake. I don't like dark chocolate. Okay.
It goes back to a lot of things I used to say, that how can you say you don't like something if you never tried it? You never experienced it, but you got a lot to talk about. Well, I've seen people do it, but you don't understand. If you haven't tried it, experienced it yourself, how can you even speak on it?
Well, see, that's why I had to take a little sidebar, because I am working on a book on sex. So,
really? I gotta have you back.
That's a whole different show.
I gotta have you on the other show.
Yeah, we have to have a talk on that one. But I just wanted to say that sex is something that you have to do yourself. Nobody can tell you what that is. This is something you have to try yourself. So someone can try to tell you how it is, whatever. This is how life is.
You have to sex to Tasha B. I like having sex and trying it out.
Exactly.
So just letting you know.
So you have to try things in order for you to know. Now, with sex, if we have the wrong partner, you wouldn't know that if you hadn't had sex with the person, okay?
I would know that you suck if I never had sex with you.
Exactly.
So thank you for the experience, but
I am a minister that enjoys talking about sex. And so we'll have to definitely have another show.
We definitely going to have a show on ministry and sex.
Exactly. And that's what the Bible is about. My book is about sex and the Bible.
She brought the wrong topic. You see how I came to life on that one. Ooh,
I like to talk about that one too.
I'm ready to be on that show. We're going to do that. Let's do that in a couple of weeks. Let's put that in a couple of weeks to do that show, because, sex is always a hot topic. But back to our discipline and the inner us, because I'm really focusing on that and trying to get people together, but I'm running out of time. But this discipline in the bridge between goals and accomplishments in your blog, and it's one of your little picture there, and I like the whole picture thing, saying that. But when you think about that, it is the bridge between your goals and your accomplishment, because if you don't discipline yourself with your goals, you will never accomplish anything.
It goes back a little deeper than that. It goes back to the reason why you had me here tonight, which is inner awareness.
Right.
And if we're not disciplined inside in our thoughts, in our mind, we can't create the goals, we can't stick to the plan, and we'll never achieve the dream. So it all starts with our inner awareness, getting still and getting quiet, and knowing that that place of peace, that is where the place of power is. And then we start to understand that, hey, this is how patience works. Right. Patience works its perfect work so that you will want nothing. Exactly. And that's what it says in the Word. So if you can get into that place where you're disciplined, then you start to understand the whole natural order of the universe works in step by step by step by step, and that you're actually working in that process, and that as long as you keep moving, everything that you dream is going to manifest, because that's how the universe works.
I love it. And I just learned something today before we go to our next break, is that I am disciplined.
There you are.
I am
disciplined.
working towards my goal to accomplish my dream. And you don't look at it that way, because I just think I'm running on fuel.
No.
But now I look at when we sit here and talk, I'm very disciplined. Very disciplined. And we'll be right back after these messages with our final thoughts on our inner selves. Happy anniversary, TB Radio. This is how it all started. What a difference a year can make. Special thanks to Catrice Cathy, better known as Lady K, and my sidekick Paul Wallace for helping make my 1 year a very, very great success. And I also want to thank a lot of people, the NAACP Theater Awards, Donald Welch, Brandy Burke, Spencer M. Collins, Margot Kim Parker, Terrell Hammond, Gloria Simonton, Marva Smith, Hope Beaver, Iman Zoe, and like I say, there's a lot of talented people that was out there that helped me with the interviews. Clifton Dutton, Abraham McDonald, Danny Deloy. If I forgot you, I am so sorry, but there's so many of you that I just stick out, that I remember, and I talk to you on a regular basis, and you've been a big support to TV Radio, and we want to thank you again. Again, this is your girl Tasha B, and I am out. And we're back on TV Radio again. This is Tuesday night. And I just want to mention before we get out of here that join me on Thursday nights, all actors, director, casting directors, writers, comedians, singers, and agents. They're every Thursday night that we're looking for new talent. You have 2 minutes to prove yourself, starting at 9:15 with an open bar from 7 to 8 at Forbidden Lounge at 8512 Santa Monica, Thursday nights. Join me and my friends on the patio. This is to get you all together to collaborate and talk about this industry that we call entertainment. And it's writers out there that's looking for actors to do projects. Some of it you get paid, some of them you don't. But it's the experience and it gets you to exercise your talent. So I want to remind you to come out on Thursday nights at Forbidden Lounge, 8512 Santa Monica. Every Thursday night from 7 to 11, open bar at 7 to 8. And then after that, dollar tacos all night. It is the bomb. So, Dr. Diva, I'm going to have you come down and enjoy.
You'll have to pull me away from the taco bar.
Well, just enjoy the taco bar. I want you to enjoy the taco bar and have a virgin drink or something. I'm just saying. You might.
Virgin?
You might. I'm sure you drink a lot of red wine.
Why do I have to have a virgin drink?
You don't have to have a virgin drink.
Just because you're a minister, you got to drink virgin drinks?
You don't?
No.
You don't?
I'm joking.
But you might want to just spin on the pole, too. I just don't say that's a whole nother show.
Oh, yeah, that's another show. We got to have that show for sure. I ought to teach people about living life.
Exactly. And you got to enjoy life because you only live, I say it all the time, you only live once and you're not coming back like this. So enjoy it in this body, in this spirit today. And that's what we're talking about. This is the last 5 minutes. This is when we give our final thoughts. And I usually give it to my guests. And anything that you want to say to the audience, what you have coming up, any programs, anything that you have going on, your Facebook, Twitter, follow her, and people on my Facebook, I always plug her in. So make sure you following me, Tasha B, on my Facebook, but make sure you're following Dr. Diva Verdun, Reverend Dr. Diva Verdun. I got to get that. I love it.
I don't go by the Reverend part too much because then I can't just be a real person.
But you are a real person, and that's why I want to say it, because I'm sitting here with you, and nothing reverent about you.
Hey, the thing about it is people got to see that just means you went to school.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean you have more knowledge than anybody about how to do this thing called life. It just means you went to school.
You went to school and you're authorized.
Exactly. To
give us some
Miles
knowledge.
Monroe said that he had 7 degrees at the time that he said this. He says, I have 7 degrees. He said, but what I learned is all I have is a small degree of knowledge in 7 different fields. So you don't really know anything.
I like that.
You have a degree.
A jack of all trades.
Right.
With
you have a title. That's it.
it.
That's all you have. You're still figuring it out.
Exactly. So this is our final thoughts. Tell us, anything that you want to express and what you got going on. What can I look forward to? Any seminars, workshops?
Yes, I have. Actually, we'll be planning a huge women's conference in Las Vegas next year. And it's called Divas Living Real, which stands for Developing Inner Vision and Awareness.
I will be
so
there.
You will show up as who you are, and you will leave the diva.
Somebody else.
So we will all be divas having a good time in Vegas next year. So that's what that is. My Facebook page is facebook.com/DRDIVAPhD, which is Dr. Diva PhD. And I actually am the only person on Facebook with the first name Diva because I had to send in my driver's license to get it. So if you type in Diva, I'm going to come up. So I would like to give everybody a closing treatment.
Okay.
And that's what I'd like to bless them with. So
okay, go ahead.
Infinite Power, I just thank you right now as we come together as a family and we all partake of the one mind. I just thank you that the healing is going forth to all those that are listening and that you're now seeing through your inner awareness who you truly are. I just know that right now you're settled in the peace that surpasses all understanding and that all you dream and desire is yours right now at this moment. And we just release this into the universe knowing that you are empowered by this word as spirit comes forth and bursts into your life a new beginning. And so we release it into the universe knowing it to be so, and so it is. Ashe, amen, and namaste. Go forth and live your power and manifest your dreams.
Loving it here on TV Radio. You heard it live from Dr. Diva Verdun. And of course, this is TV Radio. This is your girl, Tasha B. I want to thank you so much for being a wonderful guest. She will be back to all my listeners several times because I just love her. She's as cute as a button and nothing reverent about her, but we're going to talk about that on the next show when we talk about ministry and sex. Is that
Sex
the title?
in the Bible.
Sex in the Bible. That's what we're going to talk about. But of course, thank you for tuning in on TV Radio. I'm your girl, Tasha B, and I am out.